last screenshot. Now, this is the tool that I use, and I know that some of the gurus are going to have an issue with it. It's where I diverge from the pack, the money pack. 'Cause I agree with them on mostly everything they say, except for they make content for dumb people. And since my channel is small, I don't have to make content for dummies. This isn't finance for dummies. This is actually the things that I'm using, the tools that I am using to get ahead. And I don't know if it's because they have large followings and they say that, or if they just don't want you guys to win. But I give up the whole game around here, and I'm not selling you guys anything at all. I give up the ghost every single time. So this last one is a feature that Cash App has that your boy and the people who are getting it and the people who know how to flip money love. And it's a hidden gem that's specific to Cash App. And I'm going to give them shout outs because as soon as they launched it, I got the assignment. So I've been using this since this option became available. And it's a borrow function. Yeah, borrow. That thing that they tell you not to do. The thing that they tell you when they don't finance anything, let me tell you, believe you me, while I don't finance anything, I finance my investments. If I can front run money, give me that money. So at present, and so the way that this feature works, first of all, because like this will show I currently have $0 available to borrow, but right below that, you'll see that my borrow limit, which just recently got raised before I took out this last loan, got raised to $400. And how it starts is like they start you off with $50. And initially I was just using it to buy Bitcoin. Go figure, right? So if I can borrow money at under 10%, I will borrow it. Not going to lie. If you throw me an offer at under 10%, I'm probably taking that money because I charge myself 10%. So I'll pay you back and me because when I take these loans, I factor in 10%. So if I take a $400 loan, I now in my mind, as far as what I got to pay back, I got to pay back $440. Cash App's going to get their cut. I'll get my cut. It's going to go towards my pool of funds, which actually I've decided moving forward that since, and I do this regularly, that pool of money I think I'm going to put towards building out my online platform. I'm going to actually start investing in this side of things since it's part of it's something that I like to do and like I should seed some money into it. And I think that's a worthy cause is to like help in with everybody else. Cause like, obviously it's coming out of my primary stuff, but if I had something consistently that was going in there, that'd probably be a good play overall. And so I'm going to do that to make sure that there's consistently a funnel because I pull these out all the time as soon as they're available. And so what they do is they'll loan you out 50 and it's like a 5% payback amount. Now, $50 really isn't that much. So, like, I've always been of the mindset that I pay this back super fast because it's a flat rate of interest. They're charging you 5%. At present, it is at 6%. And then they used to give you 4 payments to pay it back. So, as I was building it up and paying it off early, they're factoring in how much money you keep in here with them. They're factoring in how much... basically how much collateral you have, how efficient you are at paying back these loans. And I think those are probably the 2 metrics because they don't do credit checks. It's just based off of your utilization of the platform. And I use the platform quite a bit. So when they released the ability to borrow, I heavily utilized that. I would take them out and I would pay it back basically every check, which paid it back early. And they would kick my amount up. And so recently they just raised it to $400. Now, after they broke the $350, at $350, I'm pretty sure they switched it over to where I have 5 payments to pay back now. So you'll notice down there, Friday, April 28th is when my first payment, which is optional, is due. Now I can skip that payment or you pay the payment and, do what you do. And it's spread out over 5 payments. So every payment is $84.80, which is not any sweat off my back. But what this gives me the ability to do, because of what I use the money for, is this money. So this payment that came out, I took out the 21st. Yeah, I took that out the 21st. 100 of it went into my opportunity fund. Now, the way that I'm factoring out the opportunity fund this year is that's the housing budget, because that's the next opportunity I'm looking at that's $10,000 or above. I always allocate money towards the opportunity fund. Now, the way that it is currently working for me as a brokey is I am always striving to save up $10,000. And as soon as I save up $10,000, I deploy that either into a market play or I'm looking at a property. This time around, I am looking at a property as I'm going towards the opportunity fund. So 100 of it went to that, and then 300 of it went into the cryptocurrency market. So what I'm doing is I'm borrowing at 6% and then deploying that into spaces where I'm making well over 6%. And then I just pay the loans back out of my check as though it's a front off a credit card, basically. Like I pay it just like any other bill. Like I factor this in with my credit card bills when I'm paying them back. So for something like that, for me, it's a math equation. If I'm borrowing at 6% and it's a flat 6% and I'm paying it back earlier on time out of my money, then all I have to do on the back end is put that into an asset that's going to make more than 10% as far as I'm concerned. Now, with the crypto and the opportunity fund play, I'm making way more than 10%, which makes this a worthwhile endeavor, which is why every time I pay it off, I take another loan out immediately. Like as soon as I pay it back, get myself my little cut. Cash App got their little cut. But the thing is, the way that I look at this type of money and the way that I've started looking at loans in general of money, especially these low interest, like cash advance loans, is like these catch people up who are taking this out to buy things to extend their lifestyle. The way that I utilize and leverage these style of loans is I am using them to expand my wealth faster. Not necessarily getting rich tomorrow, but you know what? An extra $400 a month of pure investment money that I just pay back at 5% or 6%. Believe you me, this is leapfrogging me forward. This style of plan, as long as you are responsible. And that's the thing. It's like, I'm going to reiterate this until I'm blue in the face. You have to be responsible with any type of leverage, period. But if you're responsible, then plays like these make a whole lot of sense, in my opinion. Because if I can make over 10%, like there's no reason for me to not do this. Also, these aren't loans that are being carried out. I'm paying them back. It's basically over 4 weeks. So like in a month, so every month I get an additional $400 cash infusion into my investment accounts specifically, or into the opportunity fund, which is also investing as far as I'm concerned. Now, at an extra $400 a month, multiply that times 12, that's an extra $4,800 a year that I'm investing. I mean, this just makes sense. Like, even if it's a bad year, because I already know that the detractors are going to be like, well, what if you don't make over the 6%? I'm not writing out the loan. It gets paid back the same month it gets taken. Basically, 4 weeks after it gets taken out, this loan is cleared out. I just paid the extra 6%, which means that to do that 12 times a year at this point is $24 a pop. So $24 times 12. So that's $288 a pop, or not a pop. $288 for 12 months of me getting $400 extra dollars that are going into the market that are continuing to grow. So it cost me $288 1 year. Now, if I'm making 10% a year off $4,800, that's $480 a year. Now that's if I'm only making 10%. As we can see, depending on what the market's doing, a good grip of this is either going into that opportunity fund, which is going to go to a property, or it's going heavily into crypto. Now, the average for crypto, mind you, since its inception, is 200% a year. And that's just buying Bitcoin. The average, if you take all the ups and downs and average them across every year, it's bad years and good years, 200%. Now, that 6% really doesn't mean anything to me personally because of what I'm invested in. Because I'm walking away at worst, at worst, with a 194% gain just buying Bitcoin. That's all I got to do. Just buy Bitcoin. Happy day. So for me, the way that I look at money and the way that money works in my life, I can't say that everybody's intelligent enough to go do something very boring like buying Bitcoin and playing the average game, or just putting it in the S&P at this point, because I'm pretty sure they've been clearing 10% a year for a few years. And I mean, normally it's 6 to 8. So you'd break even, but you'd get the money in faster, which gives you more growth potential. I mean, really, if you're in any type of market and you're not pulling out every time the price goes down or the number turns red, for me, this is a no-brain play. Like this is easy money. And it's adding to that because this is above and beyond what I'm pulling out of my paychecks, because I still pay myself, and the money that goes back to repay these loans does not come out of that pool of money either. So this is everything's about in my life right now is about funneling as much money as I can into investing into things that are either going towards larger investments or are going towards things that are getting me settled for the future to get these bags in order. And like I said, like as we're still building, it's like you got to use every tool at your disposal. And this is one that I'm heavy on this. Like I do this every 4 weeks. I'm pulling another loan on the 5th week. Like I'll have 4 weeks, pay it off. Normally it gets paid off on a payday. So I don't actually pull this money in that day. I go in the off week. So that way it filters in another cash infusion into the market. But once a month, I'm getting hit with an extra $400 to go into the market. And as this climbs, I'm debating, because like at 400, like my only concern is you run these numbers up, and then one of the things outside of just tricking off the money because you get some extra money, like if you're not responsible, this play doesn't work. But my only concern is you pull this out and then something happens to where like you can't pay it back. Like that's the only downside for me. But like I am well over collateralized in the account, so like I could just move money out of my house savings at that point, you know what I'm saying, and just pay it back. But that's one of the only things where you could get caught out. But like I don't do this for day trading funding. I don't do this to fund any type of active me messing around account. Like even the crypto stuff that I'm doing, I mean, obviously this year it's very boring. Nothing's moving really. Like this is going into static positions. Like if it's in something, it's something that's locked up for 6 months, like on a coin that I'm long on, which is basically Bitcoin or Ethereum, or it's going into my brokerage account where it's just sitting. Like there's also that, like that's an option as well. Because I don't trade. And so I would not do this for trading purposes. If there's something that's easy rolling, requires very minimal amount of maintenance, stuff like that, that's what I'm using this for. I'm using it in my area of competence for things that I know. But I wanted to make sure to share that with my community because, like, the people over here, we try to, it's obviously future financial strategies. And this is one of the strategies that I've been using that I feel definitely gives me an edge on everybody else who's saving because I'm saving from every avenue possible based on the numbers. And it's supercharging my savings rate because this is basically it's just adding another chunk of money. So, like, you can't beat that extra $4,800 a year. Like, you can do the compound interest on that and see what that can turn into. But the way that I look at it, it's like we have to use every tool at our disposal in order to counteract what's coming because we're definitely in some strange times. Now I'm going to pull this down really quick and we're going to move on to the news. I wanted to give you guys the strategy first and then some interesting, news to wind down the show. But, like, I definitely hope this is of value to you guys. Did you guys hit me up in the comments and let me know, did you guys know that this was a thing within Cash App? Do you have it as an option? I've also been wondering that because, like, I don't know who else. Like, I'm like, it's strange to me that other people, like, either don't know what this is or don't utilize it. Because I'm like, if you're into flipping money like I am, you're always looking for an opportunity to get an edge. And this is a really good opportunity and a really strong edge if utilized properly.